Hi everyone, welcome to another brand new episode of the Outlier podcast. I've got Ramy with me today. Hi Ramy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Anurag. How are you?
Uh, Typical midweek blues, Ramy. Trying to figure the week out after traveling for 3 weeks, so can't complain. Good. But thank you for asking. Again, thank you, Ramy, for taking your time out to join us in our episode today at the Outlier. Really appreciate it. Quick introduction: who Ramy is. Ramy is one of the newly hired leadership at Texans Credit Union. He is put in charge of leading the analytics charter for Texans. He comes in with close to 2 decades of experience in technology and analytics right now with Texans. So, Ramy, I don't know if I was able to do justice to your introduction. If not, sir, please feel free to add whatever you want to.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction and thanks for having me today. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all you do. I mean, for the community, sharing the experiences and content to the audiences and making everyone benefited out of it. Really appreciate that.
My pleasure, Ramy. It's because of people like you we feel more motivated every single day to talk to every single guest every day and sharing your journey and story. Every unique journey is what we focus on, and you got a very unique journey like all of us, right? So, Ramy, let's start the show with one question, right? So, I want to ask you about your journey, Ramy. Do you want to talk about your journey? What has been your journey so far? What led you to this role? It's intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, it's as everybody lives is unique. Mine is also very unique, where I had to start with in a different kind of career path into like a start. Everybody passionate about engineering. When I was in school, started in the engineering. Then later on, kind of like exposed into data. That's the new thing at that time. Started my career early as a data analyst. Then I also passionate about like the software development and the IT industry. So slowly I wanted to kind of explore in that and got into field of product management where you kind of like manage a lot of developing new software products and everything. And again, that gave me a big boost in the area of like how you can impact any users with your product you develop. And with that also kind of like led me into like you cannot do much of a product management without data. So eventually, I need to kind of rely on a data team to kind of like get my data to have my product run successfully. So eventually, that led me into more of like how can I get my data sooner and being into more hands-on. And I got good at it. That opened a big path of like leading a data and I've been in multiple industries, starting with like healthcare and being in the IT software development, startups, and also now into past almost like 6 7 years in the credit union. I love the credit union movement and excited about the future here at Texans.
Interesting, Rami. I think both of us have a very similar journey, right? Both. I mean, we never decided or thought about that we come into credit unions. We just came into credit unions as an opportunity, right? We all were working for Fortune 500s, and now we work for credit unions, and we love every single day that what we do, right? Absolutely, it's an amazing movement where all of us feel grateful that we've been given this opportunity to work for credit unions to make, I would say, life of members better across uh, life cycle. But yeah, this is amazing, Rami, right? So let's go into the next question about. It's more about, I would say, your philosophy, right? You've been leading teams for the last few years, right? Now, so what's your philosophy for building and motivating, right, a high performance team, especially in nascent areas like data and analytics? Because and in credit unions, because I mean data analytics is not a new thing outside credit unions. We've been doing it for the last 2 decades, but for credit unions it's a brand new thing that people are experimenting on still, right? So how do you build a team and motivate the team to perform, because it's so new?
Yeah, it's I mean, the leadership philosophy I kind of like follow. I mean, one of the earlier advices I got in my career is like every human is different. I would even see, yeah, everybody's unique. Need to accept that and try to work with the mindset that you need to kind of like make sure you're communicating well with your team in a way that is effective for them. And also in an area like data analytics, sometimes, or in any IT jobs, right? Sometimes it kind of gets very dry and system oriented. Always we need to re-emphasize the team, like why we are doing a certain project, what kind of impact that's going to make for the organization, or how it's going to impact our members. So that kind of like re-emphasizing what's the why factor of the project is very key in order to get have everybody on board and work for the purpose. So if you understand the teammate, give them a purpose, and also give them the freedom to learn and do their best without being scrutinized for any minor mistake, I think you'll have a very good team with synergy.
Yeah, that's I think golden rule for any team that you build. Not only just an analytics team per se, but any successful team that performs well needs that extra headroom, right? That you can go sometime up and below that, and still you'll be taken care of. So that's amazing, right? So now, Rami, Texans has hired you to build their analytics charter. It's pretty new, right? So could you please start by telling us what your current role? So what is your current role at Texans, and what are you doing? I mean, maybe I'm asking this question because you're new, right? So how did the first 6 months look like, and how will the next 6 months look like for you? What do you think?
I mean, every organization, not just the Texans, I mean, everybody is relying on data today, and we need to make sure we have a proper structure, right? I mean, Texans, when I joined, have a lot of good infrastructure and data. It's just like they needed somebody to come in and kind of understand all the systems, set up a team in a way that entire data architecture is more consistent, repeatable, and also more accurate. I mean, creating a framework where data is repeatable, and you can kind of explain everything, and it's not like different in different reports and everything. Consistency is the key. So that's where we are focused last 6 months as a team to kind of build that framework, a structure where the data is curated and served in a manner it is consistent and accurate. I know it takes a lot of time and kind of investment in the framework, but we wanted to do it right. So that's been the first 6 months, and the next 6 months. I mean, we have good reports and dashboards. We wanted to get into more of like understanding day-to-day activities of members, how we can kind of help uh, our leadership and our team to kind of come up with product and services that will improve the lives of our members and their relationship. I mean, today members have a lot of choice in their financial or banking options, right? We want to be there for them in a more personalized way, how we can provide more personalized service that is more data driven. So that's my goal and passion of like coming up with a plan to plan and launch a platform where we can achieve that very quickly.
I think you just hit it right, right? You're doing the right thing exactly. Firstly, cleaning the house, right? Firstly, having the right data that you need to use. Dashboards reporting is one part of it, but how do you leapfrog from just BI to analytics? Because that's what you've been hired for doing, right? So that's really great. Now, let me ask you about roadmap. Right now, you talked about for the next 6 months you want to do much more. So let's try to double click on that, right? So, uh, what is the roadmap, Rami, that you're envisioning for the data analytics program for Texans?
So it would be something like, I mean, you know, in today's, I mean, world has changed in data. Like every month, things are changing, right? With AI and everything, it's you never hear any interview without once mentioning AI. So things are like fast, and everybody wants to get into the AI space and everything. But here at Texans, we wanted to make sure we have, as you mentioned, we want to have a clean data, good actionable data. So we wanted to make sure we have a proper foundation, and in the roadmap, we wanted to make it more get to a point where we can uh, proactively take action for any transactions or events that comes up for a member. Building a platform where today's world, members, everybody's willing to share their some of their data in order to get a better service, right? It's like if you have a feature or a function in somewhere else like Uber, or it can be something like in Facebook or whatever, right? You assume that why my credit union or my bank doesn't offer that. Whether it can be some kind of a feature like I need a card dispatch, right? I mean, they want it to be like more fast, and I want my funds to be moved faster. So we are kind of working on those areas of like how do we make things more efficient and faster with the latest technology. So with the latest technology, we need a lot of a good data to support those products. So our goal is to kind of like have a robust data structure where we can support those kind of tools and products that can scale quickly.
Yeah, that's very well taken, right? Now we spoke a lot about work and data. Let's move on to the next piece about Ramy, right? Now you have a high demanding job. All of us have high demanding jobs, high visibility role. You're leading, running the analytics strata. Now I want to ask you one question that, but still, it demands a balance between your personal well-being and your work, right? So how do you do that balance despite of being an executive role at a credit union? Because I'll be honest, I'm 31. I fail at it every single time. I'm not able to balance my life and work. I work like 24/7. So what is your secret for balancing life and work and at least be sane?
I mean, first of all, I mean, you need to start with. I think. I mean, my goal has always been like have a good balance, right? I mean, I think I really appreciate that something with Texans, right? I mean, here the culture and everything is focused on everybody is kind of like feeling the work-life balance, and also make sure we deliver what we supposed to deliver, right? I mean, so it's all prioritizing your work and making sure we deliver what needed at work. At the same time, be there for your family and spend time, quality time in that. I mean, so it's more of like I follow more of like. Um, work while you work, play. I mean, have fun. You have fun, right? I mean, kind of try to disconnect that as possible. I mean, it's always tough. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so basically your philosophy is work hard and party harder. Not really, just kidding. So yeah, there's a fine line of difference of work and
Hmm.
your life outside work. That's very important. So yeah, that's great to hear. Now I'm a huge fan of advices, right? I think we were chatting earlier that whatever I do, whatever small I do today, whatever I do today, is because of mentors. It's because of advices that I got very early on my career. Right? Even still, every single day, I have my mentor. I call up my mentor and ask, "What do I do?" Right? Not all days are same. Days are difficult. Days are easy. Days are worse, good, whatever. Right? But still, uh, for me, advices are very important. And I want to ask you a question across those lines, right?
Hmm.
So, for you, did you receive any piece or get any piece of advice maybe early on your career, something which stayed on to you and that has helped you become whoever you are today? Because this podcast, with both the podcasts I do, Women of Community Banking podcast and Outlier, I try to share journeys and I try to share learnings of my guests so that these learnings can be distilled and people can take them and apply them, right? If you want to share something, it will be really, really helpful.
If I think of some earlier advice, that would be something like I mean, as you know, anybody in their college or earlier age, you're so curious, and you're very much, I mean, pretty much want to jump onto conclusions and uh, get into action, right? One
Yeah.
of the earlier advice I heard, got from one of my mentors is like to kind of like listen more than before you take action. So that stuck with me a lot. So, and kind of like apply in my life, and also at my work quite often is like make take time to listen. I mean, if you fully listen and understand, you kind of like almost like there's 70% chance you already have a solution to an issue or any other conversation. So make sure to spend time to fully listen. And being in data is like that is also critically key, right? It's not always listening is not always verbal. There is like non-verbal information out there, which is in kind of like action or behavior or data. So you need to keep your eyes and ears and everything open to understand what the data is telling you. So, I mean, if you look at my LinkedIn, I have a saying like, if you're ready to listen, data will tell stories. It's a quote. I mean, I think that's the key, right? I'm listening in your leadership or in data or in your life. If you listen and understand a person or a issue, that solves a lot of problem pretty quickly. So I think that helped me a lot.
That's the reason we've got two of these and one of these, right? That's the
Yeah.
reason. Both of us are data geeks, but I mean, the one that I do every morning, it says,
Mhm.
without data, everything is an opinion.
Yeah, that's a one thing also. Like, I mean, mainly with the product management, right? I mean, in the past, I had when you're managing a product, and if you come up with a feature, like everybody has an opinion and ideas, right? How do we validate or prioritize which one to kind of launch and go? I mean, every that's why where you need a data. Okay, data shows that this is more critical and important.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the power of data.
That's the power of data, and this blends so well with your philosophy of observe things first than jumping onto a conclusion or before doing something. That's so valuable, right? I think wish more people followed that, right? Life would have been much easier. uh, Now, this is more of a futuristic question, right? I mean, all of us are gung-ho about AI. I mean, the other day, funnily, someone posted on LinkedIn the quantum computing for credit unions. I had a question that, wait, let's first get data sorted. Let's
Hmm.
build dashboards. Quantum computing is 10 years later, right? But still, more of a futuristic question within credit union, outside credit union doesn't matter, right? But what is one thing, maybe, right, that you're very excited and you think, this is the future, right? I mean, I have a list of 5 things, but what are yours?
I mean, the technology has improved so much where like you can kind of like test any concept or any idea pretty quickly, whether within your work or within your uh, personal life, right? I mean, if you want to kind of learn something, it's information and technologies out there pretty easily available. That's something very exciting, right? I mean, it's maybe like 5-10 years ago, if you wanted to launch a project or test some concept, it requires a lot of team effort and big budgets and everything. But today, if you want to test something, it's pretty much very um, efficient and fast for you to test. So that helps us to be more efficient. I mean, I know there's a big buzz about like AI that's going to replace jobs and everything, but I see this as more of like efficiency and kind of like making sure things are like more efficient. I think it's going to create more opportunities for the world ahead, right? Specifically in the credit union industry, you mentioned about the quantum computing. That's interesting. Where like I read an article where it says like quantum computing has the capability of performing a job that takes kind of like almost a month by a supercomputer within minutes. So I think that's going to be critical down the lane because again, there's a big it's not about the AI, it's also about the infrastructure, the energy cost, right? It's going to require a lot of energy to support all this AI models and everything. If without quantum computing, all those things, it's not going to be possible because it's going to be more expensive to run those data servers and everything. So I think it's a new world out there. It's exciting. I mean, as you and I mean, we are looking forward to like learn more about it and how we can be part of the journey and help our community. I mean, as you said, being in a credit union is a great opportunity where you get to have develop or launch interesting product and services, and you feel good about serving the community and your members.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, right? I mean, just to add over there, I absolutely agree to all your points, right? Uh, there's a conclusion that I can make out of your answer. I believe in a concept called experimentation. I mean, unless you experiment things, there will never be innovation. There will never be new products or services coming out, right? And we working with credit unions, me as a consultant, you as someone within a credit union, at least we feel glad that whatever we are doing right now, one, there's a lot of room to work on that. One, and
Hmm.
second, we're actually impacting lives, right? By impacting lives, we're helping people get their first mortgages. We are helping people build their credit. We are helping people get their first auto loan, right? I mean, for which people might struggle, and then not many people who help this underserved segment, right? So
Yeah.
it's great, Ramy, that I mean, your answer really made sense. And I what I loved it, what I loved about it when you combine that with the mission and vision of the credit union, right? So that means that shows how well aligned you are to the mission and vision, like all of us. So Ramy, again, this was fantastic, fantastic. 22 minutes of our show. It could not have been better. So again, sir, thank you, and I appreciate the time that you spent with us today.
And thanks again, Anurag, for the opportunity. I mean, it's not every day you get an opportunity to kind of like share your experience to an audience and kind of like uh, feel good about like what you do, and thanks for your giving back to the community in this podcast. Really appreciate that.
I'm trying. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Anurag. Have a good one.